January.
Okay. So I'm talking about three different things. One, when we do our booking blitz tonight, what you could say on the phone. All right. Something simple. Because when I first started, I'm one of those people that I needed to know exactly what I was going to say on the phone before I got on the phone, because inevitably I would get nervous and flub things up. So I will give you the words to say, and then I'm going to talk about the trip a little bit, and also, I don't like holding this thing. And also I'm going to talk about how to earn the trip and just catalog and stuff. So first thing, who to call. You really need to think outside the box. A lot of us right now are thinking, I don't know who to call. I've called everybody. Well, you have to be honest with yourself. Have you really called everybody, or have you only called the easy people? You know, a lot of us have the tendency to call the ones that we think are going to probably have a party, and we don't want to call the ones that might say no. And when you start actually calling those people that might say no, you find that they're usually the ones that say yes. And also, it just gets it out. You don't have to think about it anymore, and you start doing that, and it just starts to snowball, and you get all of these great results out of calling those people. And the people that you usually think are going to say yes that don't, you usually have a tendency to get let down from that, and then you don't want to call anymore. So really start trying to call the people that maybe you didn't want to call in the first place. And thinking outside the box, you know, you have to think of your husband's, his friends' wives, girlfriends, people that you know through him, that you meet all the time. And thinking about people at parties, you know, calling them, but also when you're on the phone with them, asking for referrals from them. So it's just kind of, you have to come up with who are those people that I'm going to call first. And I always do it at night before I go to bed. I make a list of at least 5 if I know the next day I'm going to be busy. Or if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have this long list of people that I could call, to at least try and come up with 5 people. I write them down, their numbers, and then the next day I have it ready and I call them. Because you know how it goes. The next day, if you haven't done that, you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like doing that today. Because then you have to search for their phone numbers, and that just seems like too much work, and you let everything else get in the way. So come up with those numbers before you go to bed the night before, because the next day they're right there, and that's so easy to pick up and to call those people. So, as I said, try and go with the people that are hard ones first. Call them, get them out of the way, it's over with. So those are the first people I would suggest. So something that you could say on the phone, and now this is how I always start because it's just who I am and how I always have been. But when you call somebody on the phone, I'm very personal. I ask them how they are, how they're doing. Even if they're like crickets on the other end and they're not saying very much, I will find some way to get them to talk. If it's about the crazy weather, how was their Christmas, you know, anything, asking, something that you would ask when you go to a family function and it's your cousin that you only see once a year, you know, and you ask all the very basic questions. But just always trying to get that personal level there. I never want to just get on the phone and be like, have a party. I don't want to be the telemarketer, because that's exactly what they see you as. And then you don't have a tendency to get those relationships formed. So really just, you know, as I'm sitting there and I talk to them, it might only be 2 or 3 minutes, and they'll say something about one of their children that they're doing or what they're in. I'm always writing little notes, because the next time, whether they do have a party or the next time I call them, I'm going to bring that up. Well, how was Sue's ballet recital? They're like, how'd you remember that? I'm like, I don't know. You know, but I've got it all right there in the little notes. But these are all things that make such a huge difference, because they're like, oh my gosh, you know, she just cares so much about my daughter. And so that, it really helps building those relationships. Is the biggest part of our business, I believe. So after I'm done just kind of chit-chatting for a second, then I just say something like this. Well, I wanted to let you know, Sandy, I was recruited by Park Lane to build up the Midwest. I was authorized by them to give away free jewelry. I would love to get you and your friends' opinion on it. The new catalog is coming out in February, and I would love for you to see everything, and I can't wait for you to see it and let me know how you like it. I want to be your personal jeweler. What do you think? And then you just let them talk. I asked an open-ended question, really, at the end. You never really want to ask like a straight yes or no question, because then your conversation has a tendency to kind of be over. So if you say, do you want to have a party? Well, they could just say no. I just asked them what they thought. And again, I didn't even say party. I just said I wanted to come over and get their opinion on it. And then if they say that's something that they're interested in, you could go into further things and say, well, if you could do these different options, maybe just you and a couple of friends, or you could try and get a whole bunch of girls over and get a ton of free jewelry. So that's when you just kind of whittle away and get those things figured out. So that's always something to say on the phone. And a way to close it is I always say, if you could, what would be the best day of the week for you? It's always an if you could situation. Again, open-ended questions. So that's kind of something that you could say on the phone tonight when you're calling. Again, the new catalog's coming out, being very excited about that, thinking about people who have said they can't wait to see it and giving them a call. February is going to be crazy. It's double trip points. And we all want to go on one of those vacations, because I know I do. I need it so bad. I don't go for the tan. You clearly see that doesn't happen. I go because with 4 kids and everything else, I need a break. So kind of breaking down the trip points. Right now, I'm sure there's a lot of you that are like, there's no way that I can make this happen. Well, quit your stinking thinking. Because really, everyone can. It's so simple. If you just get out of your mind that it's too hard, really realize all that it takes to go, then you could go. Everyone can be there. You just have to get out of your mind that it's too hard, because if that's all you're thinking, that negativeness, most likely you won't go. I mean, there was 1 year that I didn't earn a trip, and it was because at the very beginning I said, there's no way that I'm going to make this trip. And that was the 1 year that I didn't make it. But every other year, I don't care. I'm like, I'm going on this trip no matter what it takes. So, very easy breakdown. If you have 5 parties every month, that's pretty much all you need to do. 5 parties at like 500 net and non as an average. So that's $2,500 in sales, which also gets you the jewelry all the time and a lot of other things. You also do have to recruit in the first 6 weeks. You're 3 people. All right? Again, don't freak out about that. Start now. When you're on the phone calling people and you're talking to people, start setting up their shows now, for February when the trip contest starts. Because that's what most of us do. We're like, oh, we're getting this. It's all about pre-planning. And right now is when we're doing a lot of our pre-planning. We're on the phone with those people. And when you're at parties, if you have parties, you're going to recruit people. So with those 5 parties, you're going to meet somebody to recruit, and a couple of people. So having somebody set up, meeting another one at parties, and you're going to find that other person. It comes to you with the energy that you're giving off. You're excited about everything. It's just going to happen. So don't worry about that part, because the more you worry, the harder it is. Just let it happen. That is for yourself. That's mainly what you have to do. For your girls that start, I give them their first month as a freebie that they just have to be qualified, okay? Which usually, that's their starter show. I mean, really. But just giving it that. But just not saying that they have to do a lot, making it simple. If your girls that you get started do 3 parties a month, that's all you got to do. You have 5 parties, they get started, those girls have 3 parties a month, and that's it. Okay, I'm a numbers cruncher, so I have all the numbers, because that's what I do all the time. That's how I earn these trips. I'm like, all right, what do I got to do? We have this many sales, this many parties, this girl does this girl does that, and that really helps you break it down. Honestly, if you sat there and you went home and you started going, okay, 30,000 points to earn this trip, there's doubles in this part this month, they always have doubles, and they do. Always have doubles the last month for the most part. You start really breaking it down, and you're like, holy crap, this is so easy. Now, you want to earn 2 trips? Remember those paycheck parties Kate was talking about? Say you did 2 in February, and you did 1 in March, you did 1 in April, and you did 2 in May. And your goal is always to try and get those parties with that hostess to be at least 1,000 net and non. We'll just give it that. Which she probably wants it to be more if she wants to make more money, but we'll just say 1,000 net and non. That is 10,000 points. So your 2 in February, it's 1,000, 1,000, you double it. That's 4,000. March is another 1,000, April's another 1,000. You do them in May during the doubles part, that's another 4,000. That's 10,000 points just on your paycheck parties. Yay for you. That's a free trip, just on those parties alone. And you're still getting all the bookings off of those for the rest of, so doing this great, wonderful thing to help somebody who really needs this money, and you're doing it, you're not out any money, but guess what? You've helped them, you've helped yourself get points, you've helped yourself get party points. And they're really going to try and do that for you, to help you, because you're helping them. So right there you have that. Now, if you do the ring option that we're talking about, that every single party you put on all of these rings, that's adding another 100 in net sales, 136 in net and non to every one of those 5 parties. So again, now you're talking another 2,000 plus in sales. Remember how Kate said, do the dice thing, get the rings at the party, you put them on the party. So every single time, now you're adding more sales. That's 2,000 points, well, more than that. It's going to be more than that with all the doubles, but you get what I'm saying. You know, just these 2 things are going to be huge that we don't think about all the time. So just do the little finagling and math whenever you get home. You'll see. It's a huge difference. The trips are going to be so easy to earn when it's not just about you. It's about helping others, helping people on your team, and helping your hostesses and your customers is when you're really going to find it works. Okay, so I can't wait to earn this trip. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go to Venice. So I'm so excited to see all, the new jewels when we go to convention and find out where the next trip will be. I really, as I said, I could really use a drink right this second. Anybody else? Umbrella? Yeah. I have a couple when we go on the trip and when we go to Vegas. You might have to carry me home, Kate. Oh, really quick, speaking of something funny in stories with friends, and how much we love Deb. So a few years ago, we were at a conference, and we needed an extra rollaway bed because of all the girls we had. And we called down to the front desk, and we said, we really need one of those, rollaway beds. And they said, okay, we'll bring it up. Well, we had to go back to conference for a few minutes. And when we got back, we opened up the door, and there was a crib in our room. That was our rollaway bed. And I have pictures of Deb in that crib. And it was so funny. But these are the things that happen, you just can't ever, they're priceless, the memories that you have for going, and that means more to me than anything else. But, with the new catalog, it's going to be great, and you really have to really think about the things that are going to happen for your hostesses, your customers, and for you and for your team members. That excitement that's going to be there, and you want to keep that going all the way until the next catalog comes out, because we all need that momentum, and we need that excitement. We really do, and I can't wait for that. So, just on a last note, if you work every day, just a little bit, a lot of us we don't want to pick up that phone, we don't want to do all of that, but if you just make it in that little list before you go to sleep, and you just work on things every single day, you're going to see these crazy, dramatic results at the end, because that person might not book tomorrow, they might not book in February, but they might say, I want to book in March. And then the next person you get on the phone might say, I want to book in April, and the next person might book in February and another one in February. But if you're constantly doing that consistently every day, every month you're going to have this list of people. So then in February you're going to have this list of people to call for March, and in March you're going to have this list of people to call for April. So if you're constantly doing that, you're always going to have a list of contacts to call. But it's when you quit doing that for a lengthy amount of time. Now you have to start over, and the results aren't going to happen until 2 or 3 months down the line, where you get really all the big things that you want. So if you start now, February, March, April, May are going to be huge. So don't wait until February, the middle of February, to start working, getting, parties booked for the trip. So starting now. And another thing with the trips is I've gone a lot of places. A lot of places that I dreamed about when I was little, watching black and white movies and wishing that I was there with Cary Grant, because I'm a big black and white movie stuff. And I have seen things that someone my age, most people haven't, a lot of people are retiring and still wishing that they could go to these places that we can. And so if you really think about it, you can be in all of these wonderful, amazing places and do things that people just dream about every single day, and all you got to do is your job. I'm not saying do 20 parties a month. I'm not saying do 10 parties a month. 5. 5 parties a month. That's all it takes. So just dream about it. Keep the goal. Every single day working on the goal, and I can't wait till we're all partying and drinking the next location together. And getting some, and please bring extra SPF 80 for me. I'm just going to pass this really quick. This is a quick, easy idea if you want to try and get some orders for Valentine's Day. You know how they had the Christmas flyers and everything was already set out that you could kind of pick what you wanted? Well, these are the ones that are online that you could get printed out, okay? So I'm just going to pass them so you could see them. And then you could get them printed out online. So that's the one that Park Lane already has. But there's also, if you don't really like the jewelry, you could always make up your own if you wanted to and pass them out. One of my branch directors on my team is Goalie. She made, these are so cute, she made her own. Some that are a little cheaper options for people, or they might like other jewelry better. There's 10 different packages, so if you like these or if you'd want them to be forwarded, just let your leader know and I can forward them all of the downloads, okay? So there's a whole bunch of different ones, but you could see what she did. But really great ideas just to try and get sales, because we know guys, they're last minute shoppers. Guys don't like to wrap anything, and they don't like to go shopping anyway. So think of every guy you know and start getting some orders from them. That'll